Nakukaribisha kwenye mlima wa Mungu, uko kule Thika Sarama Estate, ukipita pale Ananas Mall kwenye barabara ya Garissa, stage inaitwa Kwaheri, Mount Zion Prayer and Retreat Center. Ikiwa unataka chumba chako peke yako, watu wawili, watu wanne na hata kikundi, tunakukaribisha. Vitu vyote ambavyo unatumia kule kwenye mlima tunapeana. Mount Zion Prayer and Retreat Center. Ikiwa ungalipenda nambari ya simu 0797953840. Mount Zion Prayer and Retreat Center. Karibuni. Nakukaribisha kwenye mlima wa Mungu, uko kule Nakukaribisha kwenye mlima wa Mungu, uko kule Thika Sarama Estate, ukipita pale Ananas Mall kwenye barabara ya Garissa, stage inaitwa Kwaheri, Mount Zion Prayer and Retreat Center. Ikiwa unataka chumba chako peke yako, watu wawili, watu wanne na hata kikundi, tunakukaribisha. Vitu vyote ambavyo unatumia kule kwenye mlima tunapeana. Mount Zion Prayer and Retreat Center. Ikiwa ungalipenda nambari ya simu 0797953840. Mount Zion Prayer and Retreat Center.
Karibuni sana watazamaji wa Ezra TV na hasa watazamaji wa chumba cha Mawaidha. Leo tumedunda studio na tunazungumzia mada muhimu sana. Tunazungumzia kuhusu fatherhood. Takwimu ambazo zinatupata ni kwamba kuna udhaifu mkubwa sana. Na tukiangalia yale mambo ambayo yanafanyika katika jamii ama ina social areas, zinaoneshana kwamba kuna mchango mkubwa kwa udhaifu huo wa fatherhood katika familia zetu. Na leo ninamshauri nasaha Eliud, na tungependa tuzungumzie kwa kina na mapana, tuweze kujua changamoto zile ambazo zinachangia kwa fatherhood, na pia ushindi ule ambao tumeanza kuona na yale mambo ambayo yamepata kubadilika. Kwa hivyo tunapenda kuwakaribisheni katika show hii yetu leo, ikiwa leo ni Ijumaa ya mwisho wa mwezi huu wa Mei, ndio tunaingia mwezi wa June, baridi, lakini hapa kwa studio joto imetuzidi, sababu show leo ni moto kabisa. Kwa hivyo karibuni sana. Wale ambao ni wageni, naomba kwamba muweze kulike na kuandika comments zenu, na pia kusubscribe, na pia kufinya hiyo notification bell, ili wakati tunapoleta show kama hizi, basi usiwe wewe ni wa kuambiwa, lakini unakuwa katika mstari wa mbele kuweza kupata show hizi. Kwa hivyo karibuni sana, na napenda kukaribisha Eliud ambaye ni mshauri nasaha, ambaye tutaweza kuzungumza kwa kina na mapana kuhusu fatherhood. Karibu.
Asante sana Bazuu.
Naam.
Na ni siku nyingine njema.
Naam.
Unajua kila wakati ambapo umeanza show huwa napenda ninaanza na Kiswahili kidogo, then sasa ndio na shift sasa pole.
Naam.
Nisitoke tu kwa Kiswahili alafu niende kwa Kiingereza. Mpenzi mtazamaji, na kusalimu sana. Leo ni siku ya Friday ambayo huwa tunafanya mazungumzo kuhusiana na mambo ya kimawaidha na kimawazo ambayo huwa tunakusaidia. Na for the last several Fridays we have been focusing more on men, fatherhood, men in relationships and all that. So now today we are here so that we can look at fatherhood. We look at the challenges. What are some of the challenges that men are going through, men who are fathers now? What are some of the wins, some of the amazing things that are happening in the family setup that now men are celebrating? Today we are here so that we can talk to men who are fathers out there, all fathers, and those aspiring to become fathers in whichever capacity, whether it's biologically or through adoption or through whatever other means. Then this show is for you. Today we look at how men, what is happening with men who are in relationships, what they are achieving, how they are getting treated, what is happening, the changes that have occurred over time in the society, in the family setup, the ones especially that are affecting men, so that now in the today's society we find there are so many challenges and issues relating to fatherlessness in the families. Thank you so much, Bazuu.
Asante, karibuni sana. Napenda kushukuru mshauri nasaha kwa kuweza kutuelezea yale ambayo yanajiri. Na labda baadaye tutazungumzia kuhusu takwimu zile ambazo tuko nazo kuanzia hapa katika nchi yetu ya Kenya na pia hata kwa ulimwengu ujumla. Tunaona changamoto zile ambazo zipo hapa Kenya, pia hata na ulimwengu zipo. Na kwa muhtasari ni kwamba katika kila mtoto mmoja, katika kila watoto 5 utapata mtoto mmoja hana wazazi wake ambao walikuwa ni wazazi wale wa kumzaa. Anaishi na aidha majirani ama wadhamini ama mzazi mmoja, na hiyo huchangia pakubwa sana. Tutaona kwamba baadaye akizungumzia, tutaona kwamba mchango wa baba ama fatherhood katika ulezi wa mtoto unachangia mambo karibu 8 muhimu sana, na ni vyema tuweze kuyatambua mapema hata kwa shule. Na ningependa wale ambao katika shule, katika makanisa waweze kujua kwamba ni washikadau muhimu sana ambao wanahitaji kujua nafasi yao na mchango wao katika fatherhood, na ndio tuweze kuanza show. Ningependa uweze kuzungumzia kwa kawaida mwanaume katika malezi ama katika familia kuna majukumu yale ambayo yalikuwa ni kawaida, lakini sasa mambo yamebadilika. Labda ungezungumzia kuhusu haya alafu tuendelee kwa mambo mengine.
Naam. So in the past probably about 30 years, I think the shift has happened from the last allowed 30 years when we came now to 2000s. I think in the 90s the kind of parenting that was still there, it had not shifted to the kind of parenting that now has metamorphosized to this point now, in 2025. So within this period, if you can look at the past, culturally, in the past a man was only required to provide, that is finances, to be there financially, and to be there to provide security. A man was never required to be there for much more than that. He is able to provide for his family, the family can eat well, the family, if there is education, he can pay for the education, and then he offers security. That this family, they feel secure that there is a man in the house. They feel that they are safe because there is someone who is protecting them in other ways. Those times, now to us who are brought up by such parents, because now when I'm talking about this, I'm talking about the parents now, our parents, the ones who brought us up. Those parents, they never really concerned themselves with being there emotionally for us. Most of the times, majority of us grew by only seeing our parents once in a month or twice in a month. Because like my father, he used to work in Nairobi. So he would only come home one weekend in a month. Yeah. So you come on most of the times on Friday night, and then he'll be there on Saturday full day, and then now he'll go back on Sunday because he has to be at work on Monday. And even this Saturday when he is at home for the full day, now that's now the time when now he has to tell us how much we have neglected the cows, and now the milk is little, the production of the milk is little down. Yes. Venye fence tumeachilia fence imekuwa ng'ombe zikipita zinaharibu lakini hatujafanya anything. Venye nyumba haijapaliliwa, venye kuku sijui hazijafanywa
nini. Ile mambo tunasema authority.
Yes, the authority now. So even this day when he is there, most of the times we are like, kuna venye dada anaweza kuja Friday night arudi Saturday very early in the morning, because now hii Saturday ilikuwa mzuri sana because again now we are there the whole day. So the fathers at that particular moment now, they were not required to be there emotional, and that has changed a lot. Because if there is something that a father in the present era has to do, is to emotionally be there, because that is lacking a lot. So the shift happened. There are so many theories, there are so many ideas and reasons why this happened. But most of the times, I look at it like this, that one day someone decided that what had been happening and how the parents were parenting now their kids, there was something lacking. And now when that person, whoever it is now, decided that there was something lacking, then that person started now preaching the gospel of this parenting is not, this type of parenting is not okay. This one is not okay. And then everybody now started doing assessment to the parenting. And now, you see, when you raise an alarm, everybody now turns to deeply look at what you are talking about. And so over the years, a lot has changed. And to me, or according to me, the changes have created more chaos than benefits. Because today, the number of children who are psychologically, emotionally affected by the kind of parenting that we have right now, then there are so many. There are many. Because when you are looking at the statistics, we are looking at a 45% population of kids who live without their parents. Yes. That's almost a half. So if you have 100 families, about 45 families, they are single parenthood families. And so that has been created by the changes that have come up. So now the shift now has required the man, if you can look at that, the shift now has required the man to not only provide security and financial well-being, but also to be there emotionally. Now also to provide the finances. Yes. Also to provide security. At the same time, the same man now is also required to take care of other societal needs. You know, in the society now, in the general society. So you find that this man is too much engaged in taking care of other things and other people. And so he has little time, if any time at all, to take care of himself. So every morning he wakes up is, number one, firstborn, hana he. Secondborn, hana he. Thirdborn, hana he. Fourthborn, hana he. After that, so the person who is reporting definitely is the wife, because you know most of the times as the kids, you go to your mother and then unamwambia sina hii, nimefukuzwa hii school fees, nimeambiwa natekana hii, blah blah blah. So now the mother has to give the report most likely in the morning, because this kind of a man, yes, definitely comes home at around 10 or 11. And now at this particular time when he is coming home, he can't, everybody is asleep. So the report has to be given in the morning. And so now the wife has reported firstborn doesn't have this, secondborn, thirdborn, fourthborn. And then now she has to add her needs on top of that. I also don't have this, I also need that, I also need that. Plus the rent has not been paid. I think that yes, tukiangalia token imebakisha unit 0.01. Gas now kulingana venye nasikia ni kama inataka kuisha. So
kama chai hivyo.
Yes, so this man, by the time now he is getting into his office, he has already had enough of the day. He's already tired, he's already strained, he is already drained by the time he is getting to work. So that is the kind of a man, the kind of a father that we have today. The kind of a person who is struggling with the economy that is in ICU, whereby you try to work things out. For most people, you try to work things out, and maybe because of the taxes and so many other things, you are not able to get much profit or yields from whatever you are doing to be able to effectively take care of your family and take care of yourself. So there has been that shift, that we are moving from a man who is just providing financially and providing
security and authority
now, which is part of that. And now we are going to another man who is providing that, and now equally, even on a bigger scale, required to be there emotionally. And I think at the same time, that is why marriages used to work better than they do today. And that's why I've told you that the shift has created more damage than it was. Because during our times, despite most parents and most families having to persevere when there is abuse, there is struggle, there is pain, most marriages those days used to work way much better than they do today. Yes.
Asante sana mshauri nasaha. Ameweza kutuambia kwamba mwanaume majukumu yake ya ile awali ilikuwa ni kwamba lazima awe ni anaongoza mamlaka. Lakini mambo yamebadilika, sababu Kenya yetu imebadilika na ikakuwa na mambo, hata pia kwa ulimwengu kwa ujumla mambo yamebadilika sana, na tunaona kwamba lazima mwanaume awe hapo na aweze kuchangia emotionally. Na wenye mshauri na saa kama mwalimu wetu Eliud, inasemekana kwamba wakati kama ukaribii ama kusogelea mtoto wako emotionally, kuna mambo ambayo hayaendi vile yanatakana, na ni vyema basi mwanaume aweze kushika hiyo mambo. Na mwenyewe amesema kwamba sababu ya kubadilika kwa mambo haya mambo yamezidi kiasi ya kwamba imemsonga kimawazo na imefanya hata yeye apatwe na ugonjwa ile ya kifikra. Na kwa kawaida na katika mila na desturi za Mwafrika, mwanaume bado anaambiwa jikaze kisabuni, na hapo ndio changamoto zinaingia. Na ndio unapata wanaume wanaingilia katika mambo ya uraibu wa kunywa pombe. Wengine wale ambao hawatumii pombe wanaingilia mambo kama mipango za kando, na vitu kama hizo ambazo zinaathiri maisha na actually zinafanya jamii iwe ina changamoto nyingi zaidi ya vile ambavyo ingekuwa. Kwa hivyo nataka nirejee kwake na aweze kutuambia ni nini hasa mwanaume anaweza kufanya wakati anaposongwa na kimawazo. Nini badala ya kukimbilia dawa za kulevya, unywaji wa kileo na mambo kama hayo, ni nini hasa anatakana afanye, sababu mchango wake kwa jamii ama kwa familia ni muhimu sana. Karibu.
Yeah, so what I can say is this, a fatherless family is most of the times a very unstable family. A fatherless family is most of the times a very unstable family. Yeah. Because the woman who is left to take care of the kids, society has not brought up a woman, other than now the kind of women that now are being brought up now, the ones that are girls, yeah, and young teenagers and young adolescents. A woman who is in her 30s and she is in a relationship, she was not nurtured by the society or by the upbringing to take up all the responsibilities of a man and a woman in a family. And so if she has to do that, to most of them, yeah, it is a struggle. So a struggling woman who has to take care of kids, most of the times she cannot be there, no matter how much she would love to. She cannot be there emotionally for the kids. So the stability can come in the family, and most of the times this is where now the stability comes in. Yeah. That the father is able to take care of the basic needs, and the mother is now able to provide the other needs. Others are also basic, like emotional attachment, being there for the kids, listening to the kids and understanding what their welfare and their well-being, their wellness. They are equally important, they are equally basic. But if now it is one person who has to do all that, yes, if that is it just one person who has to do all those things, then it becomes a big challenge. You see? Yeah. So a father who fights himself or those fathers who fight themselves in a situation whereby now they have to take care of all these basic needs, all these duties, all these responsibilities, then he has to find a space in his business schedule of taking care of his family. He has to find a space to take care of himself. Because as a man, if you don't take care of yourself, then how can you be able to take care of others? You can't. Because we can't have a weak father bringing up strong children. There's equally, we cannot have a weak mother bringing strong kids. And when I'm saying weakness, I'm not talking about physical weakness. I'm talking about emotional and this busyness whereby you don't even have time to know what is happening to your kids. So a man caught up in this parenting kind of a situation, he needs to understand that most of the times he needs to take time to breathe. He needs to take some time for himself so that he can be able to pour onto the other, to the entire family now. So this shift now is almost made impossible or highly challenging because again of the stereotypes that we have in the society. Because no man wants to be painted yes, kwamba hatoshi boga. No man want to be painted as you are weak, you are a failure, you can't take care of your family, you don't know what it takes, And that's why, in the present society, a man would rather learn from home than stay in that house where the kids are suffering and the woman is suffering.
Asante.
So the man would rather disappear, atoke tu nyumbani awaache, kuliko akae hapo and then withstand the shame from now where from the society and other people. So the stereotyping that the man has to be strong always. That the man has to be the only one providing. That the man has to never show any form of emotions. You know, as a man, wewe nini inatoka ni machozi. Utakugonga. Hebu meza hiyo. Swallow that. You know, we can't afford looking at a man shedding tears. So any man who is going through that kind of a situation as a father, you need by all means possible to slow down. It's okay to give your family an amazing life. But there's something that I think you have mentioned.
Yes.
That your child has a very high possibility of remembering the day there was abuse at home or violence at home than remembering a day you took them out to Mombasa.
True.
So you try to ask your child, why are you suffering? You know, you guys used to fight. No, we didn't used to fight. We were fighting, but you don't remember the day we went to Mombasa? Yes, you don't remember the day we went to Masai Mara? No.
Sababu binadamu.
Yes. You don't remember the day I surprised you with a big birthday party? No, I don't. You don't remember I don't remember any of the good stuff that you did. Why? Because the single not good stuff that you did, it's just eroded everything else good that you had done. So for as long as a man you really want to give your family that luxurious and amazing life you want to give them,
lazima pia uwape muda.
At the same time you need to remember there are things which are more important than the finances and anything else that you think you should be giving your family. Yes.
Kuna anaitwa Maya Angelo alikuwa ni mwandishi Muamerika, alisema what you do hisia ile ambayo unaacha mtu nayo ndio mtu anakumbuka. People do not care about what you have done, but they care more about what you have done to them. The emotional aspect inashika zaidi kuliko mambo makubwa ambayo utakuwa umewafanyia. Vile hao walijihisi kando na vile umewafanyia. What you made them feel is more important than what you have done for them. Na ndio hiyo umesema kwamba yule mtoto atakumbuka vita vile ambavyo vilikuwa kwa nyumba zaidi ya vile ambavyo uliwapeleka Mombasa kwa holiday. Kwa hivyo ni muhimu sana mtazamaji kwamba baba aweze kushikilia nafasi zake kwa uzuri. Na hii inanipeleka sasa kwa kuangalia changamoto zile ambazo mwanaume ako nazo ama familia iko nayo. Na hiyo nataka tuzungumzia kuhusu fatherlessness. Na umepeana takwimu kwamba out of 45 in 100 watoto Kenya ni watoto ambao hawaishi na wazazi wao wa kuzaa. Wanaishi either na wadhamini ama ndugu na marafiki ambao ni wa karibu. Kwa hivyo tuweze kuzungumzia fatherlessness na nini hasa inaleta fatherlessness katika society zetu. Karibu.
So we have mentioned about the statistics and we have said that 45% of kids are living in single parenthood families. 1 in every 5 kids is living with an absent father. It's rare to find they are there, but it's rare to find.
Lakini kama vile wewe mwenyewe ulisema kwamba babako alikuwa anakuja tu na ni weekend ya mwezi moja ya mara moja kwa mwezi.
Yes, mara moja kwa mwezi.
Na hadi hata kwamba anakuja mnafurahiana.
Hapana.
Anakuja tu kufoka huko na mambo kama hayo.
So to try and see what has been done and what has not been done. So within this period that as a man now you are recognizing that the family environment, that now it is no longer safe for you. That is one of the major cause of exit for men. That the major reason why most kids are living without fathers is because, number one, men, in most cases, men are feeling like their contribution to the family number one, it is not recognized. Because there's nothing that a man hates more than when he goes out of his way to provide for his family. He does everything possible, almost giving up his life for a family, and then the family itself does not appreciate or acknowledge what he is doing. That no matter what he does, there will always be, we still need more. There's nobody first of all saying, okay, now we really appreciate, so far we really appreciate that you have been able to provide this. We are grateful for this. However, now if there is any way that we could have more, we would really appreciate. So when you tell a man that, he get that sense of appreciation, that at least you appreciate what I'm doing. At least there's appreciation of what I'm giving. Because here's the danger of most men. A man will give a woman the financial stability. A man will give a woman the emotional presence. A man will give a woman the security that she needs. A man will give a woman almost everything, the validations. Everything that she wants, she'll get from the man. Good in bed, dangerous, not even good, dangerous in bed. A woman will always get that. But then you look at the other end and you ask yourself, this man who is giving all this, what is he getting? Because most men are walking out of relationships because they are giving themselves
so much,
and they are receiving nothing to themselves. Because if I just sacrifice my life and everything that I'm doing, and most of the times I have heard this statement being put across by most women, that I have sacrificed my life for you to take care of the kids. You know, I've sacrificed my goals for you to stay in the house, to take care of your kids, to take care of your family, to take care of your this. So most of the times you find it as women complaining that they have sacrificed their goals and their life for the family and for the kids. And when they are saying that, they are not going to say that I have sacrificed for our kids. Most of the times it is I have sacrificed for your kids. Now they are not mine now. They are yours. They are not ours, they are yours. I have sacrificed for your kids, I have sacrificed for you, I have sacrificed for your family. And then the woman never pauses to ask herself, could it be that even what this guy is doing, he is equally sacrificing himself
for the children,
and for the family? Because most men don't do what they do because they love what they do. No. They do what they do because they must do that to take care of the family. And so as a woman, when now you come in and then you want to tell this man how much you have sacrificed, and you've never taken even a single moment, even a single sentence or a statement or even a phrase to appreciate what this man is doing, then the moment he realizes that what he is doing is not being appreciated or even seen, he will equally decide to disappear from the scene. He will disappear completely. Because if my actions and my efforts are not being acknowledged, then that means that I am not being acknowledged. So I would rather go somewhere that I feel acknowledged, that even my little tiniest efforts are acknowledged, than stay somewhere where I feel like there's nothing that I'm doing. So now that is the one of the major exit point for most men. That I'm giving, but I'm not receiving.
You're not receiving.
So when we are looking at fatherlessness and its effect in the families, is that a family which doesn't have a father, in most cases, it lacks authority. Because you realize this pattern in most homes, in most families. A child does something, and what does the mother says? Baba yenu atakuja. Ngojea baba yenu afike. Nitamwambia chenye ulifanya. And when a child is threatened like that, okay, it's a threat of a kind or a blackmail. And when a child is told that, ngojea babako akuje, the child most likely will do whatever anaambiwa afanye. Because anajua babangu akifika kinaumana. So I would rather do it. So and it takes time usually for a woman to be able to adjust to giving the authority in the capacity of a man. The kind of an authority that a man ought to give or would give.
Na labda tu nichangia hapo ni kwamba vile umesema kwamba wanawake ama pali fatherlessness is not there. Kuna kuwa na ule udhaifu kwamba mama lazima aambie mtoto kwamba ngojea babako aje. Lakini nadhani sababu ya mambo kubadilika, baba na mama wanafaa waketi katika kikao. Na katika kikao hicho waweze kuelewana kwamba baba anaweza patia hiyo authority mama, kiasi ya kwamba mtoto anajua kwamba pia mama ana uwezo wa kumwadhibu kadiri ya vile baba anaweza kumwadhibu. Ni vyema waweze kukaa kwa kikao na kujadiliana mambo kama haya.
Yes, because the moment the kids know that only dad can instill discipline in this house, when the dad is absent, they will not respect the mother.
Kweli.
They will not.
Na hiyo ndio changamoto sasa.
Yes, and that's where the major challenge starts. So, you know, as a man and a woman, as a man and a wife now in that kind of a setup, now you need to sit down and now you need to, you know, talk and say, you know, these kids need to know that you are not a scarecrow here. You see, to just scare them until I come home. No, you need to understand, as my wife, as their mother, you also have authority in this house. You don't have to tell them that kojeni baba yenu afike. Kwa nini nakuja kuwachapa na nini na slippers? Sio hii slippers hapa chini. Just do
unaweza chukua hiyo.
Yes, just do it. So you don't have to tell the kids to wait until I come so that I can discipline them, or so that they can do something. They also need to understand that you have equal authority in this house. That balance of power creates balance equally. It creates balance in all aspects of the family. So a fatherless family faces that challenge, that it lacks the right authority. The emotional attachment that a father is supposed to have with the kids, because it's equally important.
It's important.
That as a father, you bond with your kids so that they can grow with the right example. Because the reason why, Bazoo, you see most, especially young people, I heard the Gen Zs say that one of the greatest things they fear is marriage. Yes. So the reason why majority of them are struggling with marriage and making the marriage work is because they never grew up with an example of a working marriage. They grew up with examples, hundreds of examples of dysfunctional marriages, starting from the same household, extending to the entire village. That one is a drunkard, this one is an abuser, this other one is this, the other one is absent, the other one never shows up home, the other one is always making noise, the other one is like that, the other one. So in the entire village, because when we are talking about 45% is not a small percentage. Yes. So if you have, if the 45, if within a community of 100 people, the example of fatherhood you have grown up with, 45% of it is having a negative, is having a negative impact on you. Then you will equally struggle when you find yourself, because majority of these people, they find themselves in marriages. You don't know how you got there. Like you wake up one morning and you're like, you hear someone saying babe, and you're like, babe, and yeah, we got married. We have been married for 2 years. Married? I didn't know it has happened. You know, most people find themselves in marriages. So you wake up one morning and you find yourself, oh, I'm married. I've been married for this time, and now you struggle to work this marriage work because you don't have any example to reference this marriage to. You don't have a reference that I would say that, you know, this is how I used to see my father make the marriage work. This is how I used to see my mother neutralize arguments and quarrels. This is how I used to see my father handle anger and handle crisis. And so I'm going to handle it because every time my dad handled it like this, there was peace. So these kids have not grown up with that example. So now that creates a gap. That a father who is not present, then the kids don't grow up with the right example. Because now it affects them in the future. It doesn't affect them today. Yes, the shallow things that we would say it affects people is, number one, even academic achievements. Because a fatherless family, and a mother is the one who is to take care of the bills, then the mother does not have time to attend to the kids. How are you doing homework? Kama unaenda shule, ama unaendelea aje? No, she doesn't have that much time. So academics are going to be affected. These kids in a fatherless family, they will not be able to socially interact well with others. Why? Because every time they try to interact with a child who has a mother and a father in the home, the boy now is reminded, or the girl is reminded by the kids who have the father and the mother. Hata hiyo jinga yako hata ndio ilifanya baba yenu awaache. I've heard that a lot in therapy. Yes. Because now this child now starts to have low self-esteem. And this child cannot effectively interact with us. So socially they are affected. Academically they are affected. Spiritually they are affected.
Na umezungumza jambo muhimu sana. Juzi nimepata nafasi ya kwenda kwa shule, na ni shule ya vijana. Na umezungumza jambo ambalo nadhania inaweza kuwa ndio inachangia. Sababu kwa hiyo shule mzima vijana wote matokeo yao yote ilikuwa imeshuka. Hata wale ambao wanatakana wapate alama ya A, walikuwa wamepata B. Wale walipata B, C, wale ambao ni wa D wanapata E. Na vile umesema kwamba absent fathers. Na wakati nilipoangalia niliona wale wengi ambao walikuja ni wakina mama, wanaume hawako. Na ni shule ya vijana. Kwa hivyo hii mambo unazungumzia kwamba absent fathers inachangia pakubwa sana even in academic performance. Kwa hivyo mashule ambazo ni za vijana, walimu pamoja na wazazi wanafaa kuangalia. Wanaume wanafaa kuwa wanashurutishwa waje, sababu wanachangia pakubwa sana kwa alama zile ambazo watoto wao wanapata.
And that's true. That's perfectly what is happening in the society. That these kids are struggling because they don't know what it is to have a father around. And when they need a father, whether for emotional support, for advice, for moral support, or for even academic support, the father is not there. So, to be a father in this kind of an era, it requires you to be very intentional. You become an intentional father. That amidst all the things that you are doing, amidst the struggles, amidst the economies and all that, you're still finding time to spend with these kids. So that your absence may not create a gap and a void in these kids, whereby now your son doesn't have the right example of a father. So when he have kids, he has no idea what it is to be a father, and he doesn't even have an idea what it is to be a mother, to be a husband, because nobody has ever sat him down to tell him how he can be able to do that and maneuver with the crisis of fatherhood and fatherhood and husbandhood. That's the thing. So the man is going to struggle a lot. And the man, if the man has to grow with the example, and the only person in the house is the mother, so the boy is going to become more feminine most of the times. There's nothing wrong with a man becoming feminine, because what I actually have a challenge with is how now the society has shed off all femininity in men. Because I always tell people that all that is beautiful is feminine.
Yeah, true.
You shed off the femininity in a man, you make him an animal. He becomes an ugly human being.
True.
Emotionless. Because emotions are now comes from the feminine part of. Because as a man, you have both feminine and masculine energies. The woman again, only that now as a man, the masculine is more dormant. Yes, it's dormant. But if you shed off all your femininity as a man, again you become a horrible human being. So the society now has decided to shed off the femininity in men by telling them that they have to be strong, they should not ask for help, they should not show their emotions, they should not show any affections, they should not do all those things. And now that is creating men who are robots. A man who just wakes up in the morning, goes to work, comes back home. Wakes up in the morning, goes to work, comes back home. Waits for the weekend so that he can enjoy his life just a little bit. So we are bringing up robots in flesh and blood. Not metallic ones, not computerized one, but fresh and blood, but psychologically now, they have been programmed to operate just like robots, doing what they are told, not even living at all. They are surviving. They are just in the survival mode. And let me tell you something. There's nothing as dangerous as a man on survival mode. There's nothing he cannot do. Yes.
Asante sana mshauri na saa mtazamaji, tunazungumzia kuhusu fatherhood in Kenya and even in the world over, na tumeona kwamba fatherhood wanapitia changamoto ambazo zinafanana, na tumeona kwamba ni jambo ambalo limekithiri ama limekita mizizi katika nchi yetu ya Kenya na pia tena ulimwengu. Takwimu zinatuonyesha kwamba unapata ukienda pande za Amerika unapata kwamba wazazi wa wanaume ni wengi sana. Pia huko unapata idadi hiyo inabadilika, unapata wanaume ndio wazazi ambao wanaongoza familia zao, na pia unapata, lakini zinafanana mambo kama kupata wanaume hawapo. Na pia mwalimu ameweza kutuambia changamoto zile ambazo watu wanapitia ama watoto wanapitia sababu wanakosa mzazi wa kiume ndani ya familia. Tumeona kwamba inaweza fanya kwamba wajihisi kama hawafai, self esteem yao inakuwa chini, na pia tunaona matokeo yao ya masomo yanakuwa yameshuka. Kwa hivyo ni mambo ambayo tunafaa tuyazingatie sana. Na sasa nataka tubadilishe. Labda tunauliza Bazuu, leo mnazungumza tu mambo ambayo changamoto zile ambazo wanaume wanapitia. Nataka sasa tuzungumze mambo yale ambayo yamebadilika. Wale baba ambao wamepitia wamejipata sasa ni vijana, wanaweza fanya nini ili kuweza kubadilisha hiyo hali ambayo iko katika nchi yetu?
Number one thing, Bazoo, that I can say is this, that especially if you are brought up in a single parenthood family, and now you are at the age where you can even watch this show, you are at the age where you can depend on yourself, the most important thing you want to start doing is reparenting yourself. Reparenting yourself. You don't have to come from a perfect family to be perfect. Most of the times, even what we see is people coming from the so-called perfect families, but they don't turn out to be perfect. So coming from a family, a single parenthood family, does not mean that now that is going to be your fate. Because I've also heard some people say that I think it's a curse in our family because I was brought up by a single mother, and now I have separated with my wife, and now most likely now my kids are going through the same thing that I went through, and now the kids to my kids now most likely will also have to go through the same thing. No, you don't have to go there. You see, you just have to become intentional at the point which you are in. You have to be the one bridging the gap, becoming the bridge now. That now, from here onward, we are not going to have kids being brought up by single parents. And if the relationship between you and the mother to the kids, now your wife, is chaotic, I'm not saying that you should get back together. No, you don't have to be present every day. You don't have to entertain things that you don't want to. You just have to make sure that you are there for the kids. Go pick them up on the weekends. Take them take them out. Yes, every evening, just pass by and say hi to them. Take them from school if you're privileged maybe to have a vehicle or something. Take them from school, take them home, and such things. Spend moments together, spend time together. Sometimes go have dinner. You can, if you don't have to sit on the same table with your wife now, the ex now, you can just tell her to go and visit a friend that night. Yes. So you just become intentional. So if you are a parent and you are a parent, and you went through the kind of a family that we have talked about with an absent father.
Yes.
So you have to make sure that by all means possible, you reparent yourself. Reparenting means that there's a child in you as a man, especially now that we are talking about fatherhood. There's a boy in you as a man which has been craving for a father all along. There's a boy in you that is saying, I need my father. I never had opportunity to stay with my father. I never experienced fatherly love. That boy is still within you. Because this is the question that I always ask people. When you take a seed, and Bazoo, I would like to ask you that question. When you take a seed, is the tree in the seed, or is the tree ahead of the seed?
The tree is in the
seed. The tree is in the seed. Meaning that after 10 years, the tree which will be bearing fruits was in the seed 10 years ago when that seed was not even planted in the soil. So the tree was still there. That tells you that in a child, which is now a seed, let's take a child as a seed. In a child, the adult which the child will become, that adult is already in the child. At that particular moment when this child is growing up, the adult they are to become in the future, that adult is in the child, even when he or she is 0 years old, 1 year old. The adult is there. And this adult is observing everything in silence, everything that is happening. That's why, if, for example, you plant a seed, and then you don't water it properly, most likely it becomes stunted. So the adult, the 3 will most of
hata ikikuwa unapata kidogo ni dhaifu.
Exactly. Meaning that what is happening right now is affecting the adult who is already in the child, because the adult is not ahead of the child, the adult is in the child. So this adult who is in the child is observing everything that is happening. And that's why even when you are 30 and 40, something that happened where you are 5 years old can still affect you, because the 40-year-old you today was present 100% in the 5-year-old. Only that now the 40-year-old could not have spoken out and had or anything. So that tells you again that the same thing can be the vice versa. Why? Because the tree is in the seed, and then later we find the seed in the tree. You see, the cycle now
inajirudia.
Yes, inajirudia. So first of all, we have the tree in the seed, and then with the time we have now the seed coming from the tree. The same case that I'm saying, that the man, in every man there's a boy. The seed now. In every grown-up man there's a boy. And if this boy never received the right attention, if this boy never received the love he needed, the affection, the emotional attachment, this boy is still craving for that. Even when you are 50, even when you are 60, even when you are 80, that boy is still demanding that.
True.
And so because the boy does not have an opportunity to get the love from the right biological father, you as the adult now, you become the parent to the boy inside of you.
And now you have about tulizungumzia kwa show yetu.
Yes, that is now reparenting. That now you are reparenting, you are parenting yourself. The adult you now is becoming the father, is providing the father figure to the boy. This is where you talk to the boy. You give the boy whatever the boy is asking for. The boy is seeking attention. You don't get attention from other people. You don't get attention out there. You find the way through which you can give attention to the boy yourself. You're not going demanding to your wife, I need attention. Demanding to your colleagues, I need attention. No. You are the one giving attention to the boy. By doing some of the things that you wish would have been done to you, ukiwa mdogo, do them today. If sometimes you sit down and you are like, I never had a father kwa kwenda kuendesha bike na yeye, become the father. One day, just say to yourself, now, the boy, are you there? Yes, I'm here. Good. Now, remember we never had an opportunity to ride a bicycle? Good. Now, here we are. Even if it is the foolish things here, kuna kitu tulikuwa tunachapa, tulikuwa tunaita biriboli. Bira, good, that one. So, even if you unataka kupeleka hiyo, ama ile tulikuwa tunaita gurutoki, ile unakata kibuyu nusu, alafu unafugiria kaba, alafu unaweka mawe hapo, alafu unakimbia umeivuruta. If that's what you want to do, one of these days, during the weekends, even if you are 40,
na hiyo ni muhimu.
Ndio jificha pahali kwa kichaka. Fanya hizo vitu zote. Give the boy what the boy is asking.
Asante.
So that now you can reparent yourself. So number one thing that I've said is most important is that the boy is still in the man, and for as long as the boy is still seeking attention, the man will never have peace. The man will never grow. So you need first of all to pay attention to the boy, give the boy what the boy is asking for, so that now you can be able to nurture the man that you have become. Number two, when we are talking about a man who has found himself in this kind of a scenario, and what he can be able to do now, as a man, you also need to seek help. I never stop saying that. If you can't do it for yourself,
kutafuta usaidizi si dhaifu.
If you can't do it for yourself, by yourself, I mean by yourself, or even for yourself, we are here, we can help you maneuver all these things, you know, so you need to seek help. So number three is that you need to take great care of yourself. Have time for you. For as long as a man, you are busy having time for others, you need to equally have time for yourself. And I always tell men that sometimes, and frankly I always say this, sometimes I don't even want to know whether my wife is watching or not. I always tell men, kama unaani mshahara ya 30,000, wacha kwenda kuambia familia napewa 30,000. Sometimes nawaambia ni kielele. Leo waambia unapewa 25. Tell them
unajibakishia 5.
Mshahara ni 25. So nyinyi mkipanga budget mnapakia 25. Hii ingine ni yangu, nikipita na hapa nikiona maembe na chukua bakula. Of which has ndio nisikifika nyumbani niambiwe kwa sasa unaona unaenda kukula maembe na hiyo pesa ilikuwa ilipe rent, unabakisha part yako. So ukijua by the end of the month napataka hii, kwanza toa yako wewe kama mwanaume. Again hii yenye unatoa to do self care is quite again with self care ya kujaribu. Usikue self care unaenda unakanyanga kireti mzima. Hapana. Na unaita self care, that's self destruction and sabotage, you know. So you need to embrace self care, love yourself, show up for yourself.
Asante.
Because if you don't show up for yourself as a man, nobody is going to be there to show up.
Asante. Asante mshauri nasaha kwa mambo haya ambao umetuletea, na nadhania watazamaji wameweza kuelewa mawili matatu ambayo itaweza kuona kwamba wanamudu hali yao ya kuwa wanaume katika jamii zao, na kuona kwamba majukumu yao wanaishughulikia vile ambavyo inahitajika. Na labda tu kuongezea ni kwamba kuna njia ambazo si gumu ama ni rahisi. Kwa mfano, kama ni kijana ambaye yuko shule, wewe badala ya kutuma mke wako, fanya bidii uende uongee naye, uende ukae naye muongee, na hiyo itachangia pakubwa sana. Tuelewe kwamba a child will remember the time you spent with him more than the money that you're giving him kwenda kutumia. Kwa hivyo wewe mzazi uelewe kwamba muda wako na mtoto wako ni muhimu sana for you to be a father who's responsible. Na ndio tuweze kubadilisha hii mambo ambao idadi imekuwa ni kubwa na kunakuwa na hiyo changamoto. Sasa nataka nirejee kwa mshauri na sana. Sasa nataka azungumzia kuhusu institutions. Makanisa yanaweza fanya nini ili kuweza kuboresha hii hali ambao tumeipata ambao ni ya fatherless na fatherhood katika makanisa na pia in institutions za kibinafsi na pia za watu kwa ujumla.
In the present society we have a variety of institutions that have come up to assist not just men but everyone in general. If you can single them out, we can start with the church. The church has a golden opportunity because if you look at the majority of the society, members, every Sunday there's somewhere they go in a church. So if church can come up with programs whereby they are going to address these issues, they don't have to do them by themselves. You know, you can invite the counselors, you can invite us, you can invite someone who has the know-how, who has now ways of helping men in the congregation. So you invite people to come and talk to men and address these issues. So let me tell you something, that a man, if you keep preaching to a man about Jesus, and then by the end of the day, that man has to go home to a chaotic family. The moment he gets home, yes, he wonders what is wrong with Jesus. He gets home and he's like, Jesus, what's wrong with you? This is the kind of a family that I'm coming home to. So, priest, pastor, reverend, whoever you are, and the religion set up now, why are you not speaking out and helping men to navigate through some of these challenges that they are facing as fathers? You may not give them finances, and this is what I always say. As a religious leader in a religious setup, you may not help these men and these fathers who have families with finances, but one thing that you can do is actually stop taking away everything they have. Stop trying to come up with programs and strategies to take away from them everything that they have. You don't have to give them the money, but at least don't take everything that they have. Try to give them space and leave some resources to them so that they can be able to take care of a family. Because someone told me the other day that when a religious leader is in need of some financial needs, you do a harambe. Everybody has to come and contribute. But when the Christian now, the member of the church, need some financial need, unaopewa. You know, so you kuna kashida hapo. Pastor akihitaji gari tunachanga. Mimi nikihitaji gari naombewa. So there's a discordance there. So what I'm saying is this, that religious institutions should be more concerned about the well-being of a man. Because when you say, for example, in church, that every man must contribute 10,000. By saying that now, every man in that congregation will feel the need and the pressure to give the money. No, you have not pressured them, but maybe after that you have said that God loves cheerful givers. You have said that every man need to give 10,000 for the project that we have. And remember that God loves a cheerful giver. God loves the people who give. What about that man who is really struggling? In his mind, if he really believes the person saying that, he is going to say to himself, well, tabidi ningangana nitoe hiyo because sasa Mungu atakosa kunipenda. You know? And so this man, you don't even know what this man behind the scene, chenye huwa anafanya. Maybe hata huwa anashona viatu. I have seen my own father, sorry to say, but I've seen my father borrow money. Anaenda nakopa pesa, juu kuna mchago kanisani. Anaenda anachukua pesa pahali, anaambia mtu, please niko na mchago kanisani na tuliambiwa kila mwanaume Sunday lazima atasimama na 5,000 na sina pesa. Please unaweza nikopeshea 5,000, then after nimepata yangu ya maziwa nitakurejeshea. And so I'm sitting there and I'm asking myself, no, it's not supposed to be like that. God does not love a cheerful giver who goes and borrows money and now he has to no, that's not what we are talking about. You're supposed to give what you have. So religious institutions can do an amazing thing to men by making sure, first of all, that they are not draining them financially in the church projects and other activities. At the same time, equally the church can also make sure that they are not draining men off all the time, so that they can have also time to spend with their families. I'm looking at a man who is working an 8 to 5 job. He wakes up in the morning, goes to work. But before that, he has to go for mass, because I was a Catholic. I used to be a Catholic. So this man who is a Catholic, he has to go for the mass at around 6:30 in the morning. So mwanaume lazima amke kitu saa 10 hapo 5 based on the distance ya kwenda kanisa. Aende mass 6:30. Akitoka mass maybe itaisha around 7 something. Now he has to go to work. Akitoka kazini jioni, labda unapata kuna mkutano sijui ya nini, kuna chama hii ya kanisa, kuna hiki kikundi inapatana ni chairperson, kuna choir, kuna nini. So atatoka kanisani jioni. By the time anafika nyumbani, mwanaume amechoka. So something amazing also the church can do is to make sure that they are not taking away all the time the man has. Leaving him with no time to take care of his family. That's amazing. So apart from inviting people to come and talk to men and have such programs where men are empowered, the church can also play a vital role because this now the church can do that perfectly, 100%. They can be able to do this. Let us not take everything men have. Let us make sure that they are well, they are safe. Tumewachia kidogo. Equally with the time, let us not engage them every day. There is this, there is that. Let's also give them a time so they can spend with their family. That's something that amazing church can do. The other thing is that we have NGOs. Some of the NGOs have resources where they can be able to bring to societies together, bring men in groups and talk to them. They can also be able to do that. Let them do that. For as long as we are empowering a woman, if we don't empower a man equally, we are creating a discordance in the society. We are creating an imbalance. Because if you empower a woman and you don't empower a man, you have created an imbalance. It would even be better if you empower the woman and then educated the woman how to live with a man who is not empowered. Again, you would somehow strike the balance. But organizations can come up and do that. We have institutions of learning. We have learning institutions, schools. If we can be able to nurture the boys, we don't have to nurture men. You just need to nurture the boy. Because it is the boy in the man who is bringing stress to the man. So if you can be able now to nurture the man, bring up the boy in such a way that now when he grows up, he will be able to take care of all responsibilities and handle the manhood responsibility and the fatherhood responsibilities. The struggles are gone. So the government again comes in. So the government again, they also need to now also lessen the burden on the man, on men. You know, just try to make sure that you are not again taking everything from the man.
Labda nikiongezea tu ni kwamba umeletea jambo muhimu sana la serikali na juzi wali introduce paternity leave. Sijui kama ni njia moja ambayo imechangia kuona kwamba mume pia yuko hapo na mke wake wakilea ule mtoto mchanga ambaye ameweza kuzaliwa juu wakati wetu sisi mambo ya paternity leave haikuwa hapo.
It's a good idea. Ndio. But it's going to fail. Why? Because if you give a man a paternity leave of 1 month and you don't equip him on how to live with a mother who has just given birth, how to handle emotions of a mother who has just given birth, how to handle a child who is crying, how to handle the situation. So the leave is far more useless. Actually, it's going to be of a burden. Most men, when they are given the paternity leave, they are never at home. Anaamuka asubuhi, anakunywa breakfast kwa mtaa, anakuja jioni. So there is no difference. So if we are increasing the paternity leave for men, we need also to sit down with them and tell them kwa nini tunawapea paternity leave. Si tamia kwenda kurelax. Paternity leave si unaenda kurelax. Ni bibi yako aende relax so that you can help her nyumbani.
Kwa hivyo ni kama kusema kwamba in a society wakati vile tuna train the women, pia hata mwanaume pia anafaa kufanya kupewa mafunzo.
Yes.
Ndio yale mambo ambayo tumempangia ya kuwa kama baba ama mzazi mbaba aweze kuyafanya kwa ile njia ambayo inahitajika, na ndio tuweze kupata matokeo yale ambayo tuliweza kuyadhamiria wakati tulipoleta huduma kama hii.
Exactly, because now the reason why you are asking the man to go home for a paternity leave is so that he can make the life of the wife who have just given birth, because for him he has not given birth. So it's to make the life of the one who has given birth some time, na pia yeye apate some attachment with the child. So then that means that this man is going home to make things easier for the wife. So the responsibilities of the wife ndizo zingine mwanamume anaenda kuchukua. Maybe kusaidia kupika, sometimes kusaidia kufua, sometimes kusaidia kushika
kupatia mtoto ama mama nafasi ya kulala juu.
Yes, ya kulala.
Watoto wengine pia wanalia sana.
Mtoto halali. So sasa tunamtuma nyumbani ndio aende akasaidia bibi. Lakini huyu mwanamume tumetuma nyumbani mwezi mzima akasaidia bibi. Aligurua akiambiwa kwamba mwanamume hapiki, mwanamume haoshi nguo, mwanamume hashiki mtoto, mwanamume hachange diaper.
Sasa hiyo ndio mambo ambao labda ndio tuweze kufika mwisho.
Yes.
Sababu mwelekezi wangu ananiambia muda unatupa kisogo. Labda utamalizia na mambo ile ambayo society ama jamii inafaa kubadilisha. Mambo kama hayo umesema kwamba kuna rafiki yangu mmoja ambaye alikuwa katika familia ambayo mwanaume alikuwa takikani. Actually mila na hilo ni jambo ambalo hatukugusia. Labda tutagusia siku nyingine. Ni kwamba mwanaume atakani kupika. Na ilifika wakati wake wa kuenda akaandikwa kazi. Na aliandikwa kazi ambayo ilikuwa mbali na kule ambapo alikuwa anaishi na mali ambapo hajui watu. Unajua mtu alijaribu kupika ugali ikamshinda. Na hiyo ugali iliishia kuwa uji. Na pia ilikuwa ni uji ambayo imechanganyikana na unga. Na alijuta sana. Sababu kuanzia wakati huo aliapa siwezi kuwa na kufa njaa. Sababu nililelewa katika mila na desturi ambayo mwanaume atakikani kupika. Sasa vile tunaongea na wewe sasa hii, huyo mwanaume anajua kupika chakula chote, hata mke wake apiki, yeye ndo anapika. Lakini najaribu kusema nini? Tukimalizia show ya leo tukizungumzia kuhusu fatherhood, ni kwamba jamii inafaa kubadilika. Wakati mwanaume anapatikana na changamoto, asiwe ni mtu wa kukejeliwa, kuambiwa kwamba wewe utoshi, wewe ni mwanaume aina gani. Hebu zungumzia hiyo kwa dakika 2-3 alafu tuweze kumalizia show yetu leo.
So the society has shaped the man to be who he is. So it is the same society first of all that has to accept that the kind of a man the society has brought up is the wrong man. The society has used the wrong ways to bring up the man because the methods through which the society has brought up the man, they are no longer working. So the society first of all has to agree that there is something wrong here. Now, now we agree there is something wrong here, how do we make it right? Then they come together and ask themselves now, how from this point forward are we going to bring up men? Because we need to redefine who a man is, we need to redefine fatherhood, we need to redefine husbandhood, so that we can give men the enough internal space to feel that whatever they are doing is not against something that was programmed in them. Because what makes most men, because if as a man personally, I grew up when watching my father cook. I grew up watching my father help my mother wash the clothes. Yes, I don't have a challenge. Yes, when the time comes for me to do it, when the time comes for me to do it, I'll be like, actually, to be more manly. That's I help my wife to wash the clothes. Why? Because my dad was a man enough, and he used to do that. You see? So if men now, the boys now, grow up in an environment which doesn't shape them to become men, it shapes them to become authoritative people. It shapes them to become people who just give commands, and they don't participate in any way to assist even in their house. Then we are making a mess out of men. And if we are helping men to help within the house, equally we need to help women to learn how also to chip in to take care of the bills. Because if the man has to help at home, to take care of the household events, then the wife also, yes, you have to chip in. So if we are chipping in 50-50, let it be 50-50 in everything. I'm helping you with at home, and at the same time equally kuna kabiashara umeweka pahali, hiyo jioni nimeshinda nikifua nguo, hiyo jioni tutakula, hutaniitisha pesa. You see? Wewe unaleta sasa. Yes. So if you can have that balance again, it's going to work. So when the society need to accept, first of all, there's a problem, and then take the initiative of involving the right people. Because by society by itself, the people in the society by itself, if they think they can be able to do this by themselves, again, that's wrong. They cannot achieve this by themselves. They need to bring people now, like us, who are able now to help in shaping and reshaping, help in learning and relearning some of the programmings and laws and notions and the norms that are in the society. So if the society can join hands and redefine the parenting, redefine manhood, redefine fatherhood, then we can have a safe space for men where they are going to feel heard, where they are going to feel they belong, and a place where men are going to feel, I'm not doing this because there is a voice of society within me demanding that I should do this. I'm doing this because I love doing it. Yes.
Asante sana mshauri nasaha. Napenda kuwashukuru sana watazamaji wetu kwa kuweza kumakinika na kufuatilia yale ambayo tumeyazungumzia. Tumezungumzia jambo ambalo wanaume kwa kawaida wana udhaifu, na pia jamii wa kidogo haiangalii hilo jambo kwa ile njia ambayo inahitajika. Na nashukuru kwamba katika kipindi cha Chumba cha Mawaidha tunaleta show zile ambazo zinazungumzia yale mambo ambayo kwa kawaida watu hawataki kuyazungumzia, lakini tunaileta hapa paruanja ili tuweze kusaidia wale ambao wako katika jamii zetu, na pia hata yule mtu ambaye ni binafsi. Ningependa tumalizie na kuongea na mshauri nasaha aweze kuzungumzia ule mwanaume. Labda mtu anasema hapo, Bazuu, ndio mmezungumza vizuri, na mimi niko katika hiyo hali, nitafanya nini? Zungumzia huyo mwanaume, na unaweza tuongea na hiyo kamera number 1 na uweze kumwambia wewe bado unafaa na bado una nafasi kubwa. Kama mambo yamebadilika, basi kuanzia leo fungua ukurasa mpya na uweze kutembea. Asante. Karibu.
So for all men out there who are fathers today, one thing that I can tell you is that there's nothing like perfect. If you're looking for a perfect father, that guy doesn't exist, and definitely that guy is not going to be you. So you have to accept that sometimes you do things the right way, sometimes you do them the wrong way, and that's okay. Why? Because you never attended a school where you are taught how to parent, how to be a father. And even if you are a psychologist like me, and you may think that I know it all because I was taught how to be a father, or I was taught behaviors of a child, you are taught the behaviors of a child, but not that specific child that you have. You may go for a training or a session like this one that we just had, and then you may think, now I have been told how to be a father. No, you have not taught you how. You have just looked at the basics. And so now you have to go on the ground and be a unique father to that unique child that you have. Because not everything we say can apply to every man, can apply to every father. So it requires you now to open up your mind and ask yourself, can I be present enough to see the kind of an environment that I'm in, so that I can be able to learn from it and respond to the needs of the environment that I'm in. So as a man, no matter what you do, there's no marking scheme. So just know that your way is the right way. All you need to do is to adjust things here and there to make sure that you are not hurting the family, and at the same time, you are not hurting yourself. You need to take time to spend on yourself. Be there for you. Because as a man, you are busy taking care of your family, taking care of a million things. And you are leaving the most important person to be taken care of, and that's you, and there is no one taking care of you. So you need to prioritize on taking care of yourself so that you can be able to take care of others. So if you're in a situation where you are in a crisis of fatherhood, there's a lot we could say, there's much we could say, but one thing that I can do for sure, that I can guarantee is going to offer you the individualized help, is probably give you my contact, so that if you are in a crisis as a father, you can contact me, reach out, and then we can have a conversation, a hearing conversation, and strategize on what you are going through and how we can be able to maneuver through your individualized crisis. And here's my contact, 0713 550 493. 0713 550 493. You can WhatsApp me, you can call me, you can text me. And equally, if you like me to add you to our brotherhood group, because we have a brotherhood group that we formed just recently and we are still picking up, and we are looking forward to having conversation, even deeper conversations with men. You can text me on WhatsApp and tell me, hi Eliud, kindly add me to the group, and I'll do exactly that, because we want all men to come together so that we as men, we can be there for each other.
Asante mshauri nasaha. Napenda kuwashukuru sana kwa vile ambavyo mmetenga muda wa kuweza kuwa pamoja nasi. Tumezungumzia hii jambo lisali moja. Na wengi wametumaini kwamba jinsi ambavyo uliweza kuanza show hii si vile ambavyo umeweza kutoka. Umeweza kupata mawili matatu, na wewe kama mume ama kama wewe ni mke, umejua kuna nafasi muhimu ya kuweza kuleta a father figure in your family ambayo itaweza kuleta mabadiliko. Na makanisa na taasisi zote zinachangia mahali pakubwa sana. Hatukuweza kuzungumzia vile mambo yanafanywa pande za Singapore, lakini wamefungua fatherhood clubs ambazo wanaume wanaingia pale, wanafunzwa vile ambavyo wanahitaji kumudu familia na watoto wao. Labda kwa show nyingine tutaweza kuleta hizo njia ambazo wanaume wanajihusisha ili waweze kuboresha uhusiano wao na wake zao na pia na watoto. Na ndio changamoto ambao imekita mizizi katika jamii zetu. Tuweze kuona jinsi ambavyo tutaweza kuidhibiti. Huyu si mwingine ila ni Bazuu the wise man, ule ambaye mnampenda na sisi pia tunawapenda sana. Hadi Ijumaa nyingine namalizia na kusema kwamba wewe mzazi wa baba wa mwanaume una mchango mkubwa sana kwa familia yako. Usije ukazembea. What I need to tell you that you need to be deliberate and intentional in fatherhood. Hadi wakati mwingine, Mungu awabariki.